Because the times
Woke up this morning thinking about
Those summer days.
best friend got caught up when I stayed in Douglasville. Doing trying to stuff by myself. I'm a
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. That last video had me drained, bro. I'm fucking drained. The death of clout rap. Let's get into it. We have a lot of those clout rappers. They're popular for like a season and then they, disappear.
This video is brought to you by
Trying to come back
Keeps.com.
with another
Stay
hit
tuned to find out more.
with another single.
One of the big superstars of the world, Little Pimp. There he is. Does everyone know who he is? Do you know how big he is? Come on up here.
If you got popping in 2017 or 2018, and by 2021 you were washed up, you were basically a one-hit wonder. You are a disgrace. Y'all got hooked on drugs, hooked on anything but phonics, and didn't fucking deliver. You are trash.
For years now, hip-hop news organizations have found themselves in the unenviable position where, rather than finding that they receive much of their traffic from detailed reporting about the music that they love, most of their revenue was generated from charting the never-ending antics of hip-hop's youth as they battle for the audience's attention, in turn giving rise to the mutation of the genre that's been labeled as clout rap. Although a concrete definition is hard to come by, so-called clout rap is defined by a few things. A, the artist's social media presence plays as much, if not more of a role in their career as the music itself. B, they'll regularly find themselves involved in meaningless scuffles and beefs online. And C, any substance takes a back seat to constant claims that you are the top dog in the industry. In lieu of any real mission statement, the only true goal that the clout-fixated rapper has is to keep stacking up enough jewelry, designer clothes, and every other status symbol they can find to make themselves undeniable. Although they predated the clout era, this concept was beta tested by early internet rappers such as Lil B before being arguably perfected by Soulja Boy. As after making his ascent in the mid-2000s, the head of SODMG released a track entitled Hella.
But nah, look, Soulja Boy, he really influenced the whole fucking generation. Like, he was the first for a lot of shit in rap. Okay, look. I give Soulja Boy his flowers. Soulja Boy got me doing Superman and all that shit when I was young. I'm just saying. Soulja Boy, y'all can say he a clout rapper, whatever. He might be beefing, but this nigga he did his shit. Rich man. I know he don't have all the money in the world. But he's a rich man. He did a lot of shit. He innovated. Without Soulja Boy, we wouldn't have we wouldn't have black rap dances like that. We would still have the same old. Let me see you Tootsie Roll, like, you know what I'm saying? Or Electric Slide or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that old school shit. No offense. But he really got a new wave. Him and a handful of other people that I can't name off the top of my head. But shout out to Soulja Boy. I'm going to give him his love.
Clout in 2018 has made a career out of proclaiming himself to be hip-hop's market leader and beefing with everyone from wrestlers to influencers along the way. All the while throwing his hat into the ring as the biggest and most vital star in the game, resulting in an era where he may make memes, but he hasn't registered on the charts in a decade.
Yo, Meek Mill ain't beef.
I'm sorry.
Beef with Chris Brown and was finna box with Floyd Mayweather.
He beef with Drake, the biggest rapper in the world.
Drake? Drake? The nigga got bodied by Pusha T? He copied my whole flow. Word for word, bar for bar.
Alright, so I want to take a quick break to thank our friends at Keeps.com. For anyone that's endured a battle with thinning or receding hair, you know that it could be a form of in essence, 3 months, and while you're
get past this,
doctor for one, get 50% subscription.
All right, let's
get
get
the video.
it.
From the emergence of Lil Uzi Vert's Clout to the popularization of Clout goggles, 2017 was arguably the year where Clout rap reached its peak. The subject of countless tracks and hastily penned bars that looked to capitalize on the idea, the emergence of Clout as a cultural obsession meant that everywhere you looked, everyone was attempting to accumulate it, either through their latest hijinks on social media, or in the case of Joyner Lucas or Florida's own Denzel Curry, rallying against it. It's Muhammad Ali when he's mouthing off, which changed boxing and made it more entertaining. It's Tupac when he was going wild on people, creating entertainment. Said Nas Nas when discussing the rise of Clout in November of last year. I don't care for it when it's only that, when it's only clout, when there's no real purpose behind the record other than trying to get streams. I wish artists would try not to do so much clout chasing because the people notice it and it's corny. Although there's no doubt that some artists have modeled their careers around getting one up on others who would likely try to shrug Nasir's comments off, there does appear to be a steadily mounting case that the concept has been driven into the ground. To pinpoint a prime example of this, look no further than Lil Pump. Since busting out of the gate with Gucci Gang, Pump has used his platform as a means to profit from the prevailing trends of the day, eventually gaining so much notoriety as a comedic figure in hip-hop that he even netted a Kanye West collaboration.
That was
His
one of the good
provocations to
songs.
J. Cole through his fake retirement and embracing the idea of being a addict, there was a period where, no matter if you liked him or loathed him, he was simply too big to be ignored. Then, he suddenly found himself scrambling to replicate his attention-grabbing style after his 2019 Harvard Dropout project saw his persona wear thin and result in the record spawning no hit singles whatsoever. And as we saw earlier, he not only attempted to feud with Eminem, but tried to garner some clicks by restyling himself as a Trump supporter. To the mind of No Jumper's Adam 22, this was a case of when clout chasing leaves you painted into a corner and just waiting on your downfall.
It kind of feels like a lot of that might have closed the door a little bit on people's willingness to with him. Not artists necessarily, but the fans, you know? It was already crazy enough, but the fact that he called him a little pimp just blew my into a million pieces. I didn't think that was a great idea. I don't think long term it was a good career move.
Although it's not nearly as dramatic a decline, the infamous Tekashi 6ix9ine was another beneficiary of the Clout era. Fresh from his release from jail after he turned informant and became hip-hop's most wanted man, the world record-breaking live stream that announced his return to the public eye may have seemed like a new high watermark, but would actually prove to be the beginning of the end. After proclaiming that he was Clout on comeback single Gooba, the sales of his sophomore album Tattletales amounted to just 50,000 and the number 4 spot on the chart, just 1/3 of what it was predicted that he'd shift. Just like Pump before him, curiosity dipped when his shtick proved repetitive and with nothing to back it up. He could never recapture that magic. While his situation wasn't as explosive, this sense of fraudulent hood origin stories coming back to haunt an artist was embodied by Alabama's YBN Nahmir. Propelled to fame by tracks such as Rubbing Off the Paint, the YBN leader arrived with no shortage of lyrics about doing dirt in the streets. But when it was discovered that it was the virtual neighborhoods of San Andreas that he earned his stripes on, the jokes came thick and fast. Particularly as his identity crisis continued to rage on before his eyes. I used to be on the internet a lot, so all my friends on the internet were from California. I was always around them online, so I started to sound like them, he told the Fader in October 2017. I don't really hang around people from Alabama for real, except my cousins and them. Just 1 month on, he'd put forth a contrasting image to No Jumper.
Cause I only hang with people that's like older than me. I was out there, but I was cool, like you feel me? I was smooth. I know a bunch of that done died, life sentences in jail. But it was really smooth. Like, I ain't really had to worry about it because I know my had me and like I wouldn't with me because my name hold weight in my city.
Now, in the post-Clout era, YBN Nahmir's 2021 album Visionland shifted a measly 4,000 copies and was relentlessly clowned by fans. Possessing more of a shared ancestry with YouTube rappers than with the icons of the past, it was only a matter of time until the appeal of relentless posturing wore off, particularly when you consider that as of May of last year, artists were looking to use their platforms for good. After the tragic murder of George Floyd re-energized the BLM movement, artists such as Lil Baby, DaBaby, Roddy Ricch, and Conway threw themselves into musical activism. For Lil Baby, this shift was so well received that protest anthem, The Bigger Picture, became his highest charting single, proving that the mindlessness of clout chasing isn't necessarily the key to success when actually standing up and being counted can be just as impactful. With these artists emphasizing that there's still a place for sincerity in hip-hop, we've reached a point where even those who were forerunners of clout rap are now analyzing what's going on and pointing out that this is a monster that we've all helped create. Having arrived in the game with an exaggerated, drill-inspired persona in 2015, Slim Jesus was instantly vilified for his gimmick. So, when it was revealed that New York's Lil Tecca had falsified his bars about choppers and other criminality, Slim Jesus was quick to point out that this was nothing new.
Having a gun don't make anyone gangster. So rapping about guns don't make you want to be gangster. You just rapping about guns. Like I rap about and I have a whole girl. If you don't like what I'm talking about, go listen to someone else.
When I came out, my first interview, I said, look, I ain't out here trying to kill nobody. I'm here to make my music. Y'all try to crucify my so my issue lie with y'all dumb bro that swear y'all hate my so much, bro. But I don't think y'all really know why the you don't like me in the first place, bro.
Valid as his criticisms may be, Slim's suggestion that he was unfairly treated misses out on the crucial difference in time frame between himself and the 18-year-old MC behind Did It Again. As while Slim was sticking his neck out there with a falsified character in 2015, Tecca has arrived at a time when that was ultimately commonplace and caters to an audience that cares more about clout than content. However, it appears that Lil Tecca caught the tail end of an era in which this works, and now, inauthenticity is once again coming under scrutiny. During a recent live stream, DJ Academics, who released his own Clout Chaser EP at the height of the wave in 2018, claimed that clout has been abolished as the audience reestablishes an appetite for realness.
The people who were swag rapping gangsterism, and by the way, I'm going to include Smoke Perp. He used to rap about all type of guns he had. Again, the real street rappers eradicated y'all. Your raps are not believable. They don't hit the same. When people see Pooh Shiesty, they think he's a real shooter. When they see Namir, they think he's a GTA role player.
But
y'all have a little era where you shock or you amaze people, and within that time period, people care. A year later, they don't.
Left to flounder after artists such as 6ix9ine and Lil Pump had weakened the audience's capacity to suspend their belief, it appears that more elaborate stunts are giving way to an understated air street credentials. Led by figures such as Lil Durk, Pooh Shiesty, and Polo G, this new breed of street-oriented rappers have helped audiences delineate between the real and the fake and have become the new dominant wave. In what is the perfect summary of this tipping of the scales, look no further than June of 2020, in which Lil Pump's former ally and noted clout rapper Smoke Perp went up against Lil Durk for the audience's listenership. Within that same first week spell, Smoke Perp's Florida Jit sold 5,000, while the deluxe edition of Lil Durk's Just Cause Y'all Waited 2 recorded a massive 40,000. In December of that year, Durk would forfeit most of the first week's sale period for follow-up record The Voice and still clocked in over 23,000. Within the following week, he'd obtain another 66,000 before he'd help elevate Pooh Shiesty to dominance with Back in Blood, with his debut album shifting 62,000 in its first week, and with that, the power officially changed hands. No longer willing to stand by and tolerate artists whose singular selling point comes from the same sort of drama that's made reality TV into a guilty pleasure, hip-hop is now searching for a reconfiguration of what and who will dominate the charts. And while it's impossible to know if this pivot towards rappers with a real aura of menace to them is the answer in the long run, fans can take comfort in the fact that for the clout rappers, their bag of tricks is officially drawing blanks and is out of sync with the audience's ever-evolving sensibility.
Like I say, when it comes to music, you have to innovate it. You have to put people on. You have to build your style by having other artists copy you. Put them on. Let that artist be a part of you. Lil Durk put a shit ton of people on. And you could listen to all those other people and you could hear a little bit of Lil Durk in them. So Lil Durk been innovating the game. I'm just saying, man. It's a lot of rappers that's innovating, that's doing little slick shit that people don't really pay attention to, but I do. It's like, oh shit, that's his sound now. You have all these rappers sounding low-key kind of like him a little bit. Not fully like him, their own style, but they got it from Lil Durk. If that makes sense. Man, I'm just... Another thing is, as an artist, you have to listen to music and know, did my music, do people smoke dead ops to my music? Do people do all this fucked up evil shit to my music? And if so, can you sleep at night? That's another thing about being an artist. Will people actually fuck with my music in the next 10 years that I made back then? When you're like, you know how you watch those, like, you know how you watch those documentaries, or like those movies about these famous, Cadillac Records, how they was older, and they went back on like the road and tour. When you go back on tour and you 60, 50, 60 years old, and all the older people, oh hell yeah, throw it, and all that other shit, throwing shit up and stuff, acting, you know what I'm saying? Would that really be you? Or when you that old, you might not even be here at that age. You might just be retired. You might just want to be a businessman. Like, you could do business and music, but if you're a musician in blood, with business and all. Jay-Z could still do a show, and he'll sell out in a matter of minutes, because the music is in his blood. Some people just do music just for money, and it's sad. I rambled a little bit. That's my fault. I don't really like clout rappers like that. They all fall off. Don't matter how many businesses you have, you will fall off one way or another. There'll be people giving you money because they believe in you. You always have your hardcore fan base. Every artist just about have one. But it's not about that. You have to keep growing. You have to grow into something bigger. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Peace.
Mario the poet.